So the next book we're going to look at is called Are We Smart Enough to Know How Smart Animals Are? By Frans de Waal. All right. So this book is from 2016, has 275 pages, and it's all about the oddities and the complexities of animal cognition and kind of what we understand about how animals function in terms of neurologically, like how does their brain work? What do we understand in terms of how they problem solve? You may have heard of the fact that certain animals can use things like tools. Like crows are really good at taking things like twigs and bending or breaking them into shapes or lengths that they can use for different things like getting larvae out of holes in trees and stuff like that. So this is a really interesting book if you are interested in learning at all about animals or how animals function. The book covers experiments and studies and trials that were done with different kinds of animals. So he talks about crows, wasps, dolphins, bats, parrots, chimpanzees, sheep, bonobos, and even more. The bibliography itself is 28 pages. So all of these are research papers that have been published that the author is referencing in regards to what they're talking about with claims or what people have learned based on their evidence or their data analysis. But all of this is just references after references after references. So it's filled with other things that you can go look up and read, which is obviously amazing. It also has a glossary, so it has a little bit of definitions at the end for people that don't know some of the scientific terms, so you don't have to look everything up on a computer if you don't know what they are. So the author, Frans de Waal, is a Dutch primatologist, and he is the director of the Living Links Center at the Yerkes National Primate Research Center, part of Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. And he's also a professor of primate behavior in the Department of Psychology at Emory University. He is a member of the United States National Academy of Scientists and part of the Royal Netherlands Academy of Arts and Sciences. So somebody that's involved in the scientific field and has done research. He's done a lot with primates, so he references that a lot in the book based on his research and what he specializes in. There's a quote from Albert Einstein that's often tossed around in education, and it goes, "Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid." And I think that this book does a really good job of discussing the concept of that quote, because obviously a fish can't climb a tree because it's not biologically meant to climb a tree, right? A monkey would do a great job, but that doesn't necessarily mean the monkey is smarter than the fish, because you're testing the fish on something that it has no ability to accomplish. So just because we think of animals as, or just because animals cannot do all of the things that humans can do, like make art or make music or have a conversation about philosophy or religion or what have you, that doesn't necessarily mean that animals aren't as smart as us. It just means that we need to think of different ways of testing what those animals can do to show us how smart they are, but the test needs to be based on their standards, right? We can't base it off of human standards for an animal. So that's one thing that I think was really interesting about this book. So I highly recommend it if you are somebody who's interested in either animals and learning about animal behavior or the animal kingdom, or if you're interested in psychology, because it does talk about humans, but obviously it's not focused on them. So great book, little dry at some parts. I'm probably going to go back and have to read this again because it's just so densely full of information that it's hard to really come out of it having grasped all the information just from reading it one time. But I do recommend it if those are some things that you're interested in.